convey this, what helped me was first to try to describe human civilization as a machine. Now, a machine is a metaphor. It's not really a machine, although it involves a lot of machines. But a machine is, by definition, a complex tool fashioned to achieve a desire. So you want to travel, you create a traveling machine called a car or an airplane or a ship. You want to communicate, you create a communicating machine, call it a TV or a cell phone or an internet. And you want to, so we have all kinds of machines. Well, if we put all of those together, what are we trying to do? I think the first thing we're trying to do is we're trying to experience prosperity. Now, by prosperity, I mean everything that helps us thrive. Good health, good entertainment, good food, good lodging, good education. Almost everything we do relates to our desire for more prosperity. You get a little prosperity, you want a little more. You have more, you want a little more. This desire for prosperity. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. You've heard about that somewhere before. It's this desire for prosperity. So you think about our civilization, it's basically a prosperity machine. Now, as soon as you have a little prosperity, somebody else might try to steal it. So then you need to protect it. And that's the second desire, the desire for security. Security is everything we do to protect the prosperity we already have. Paying police officers, having armies, having locks on our doors, having a firewall around your computer, having a fire department, having flood insurance, insurance industry. All of these things are part of our security system to protect the prosperity that we've already achieved. Now, to keep the prosperity system and the security system going, it costs money. And how do we pay for this fairly? Well, then you have to invent taxes, and you have to have governments, and you have to have laws to keep people from messing up the whole system. You got to keep bankers, crooked bankers. Well, you got to try to keep crooked bankers from manipulating the system, because we just watched a whole lot of prosperity disappear because of a lack of this third system, and that's what we call an equity system. That's government. That's laws. That's regulatory agencies. It's everything we do to try to keep the system running fairly. It's taxes. And I know it's very acceptable for people to say, oh, taxes are bad. But taxes are the way that we keep the security and prosperity system going. There's no other way to do it. So we try to do it as equitably as we can. So that's this human society. And you could think about every single thing that we do as fitting into one or more of those circles, trying to fulfill one or more of those desires. Now, one other small detail. That human system isn't the ultimate reality. It takes place in a larger system that we'll call the ecosystem, the planet Earth. And so everything we human beings do, except, the space station, but, basically it's within the Earth's ecosystem. And that's pretty important. Small detail we better pay attention to, because everything we do inside of the human machine, the human civilization, involves sucking resources out of the environment, doing something with them, and then pumping the wastes back into the environment. So everything, all of our resources come in, all of our wastes go out, and the environment has to handle it. The only thing coming into the whole ecosystem every day is solar energy, and the only thing going out every night is heat. And so we live kind of in a big goldfish bowl, and everything we do as human beings is within this. And that brings us to the first crisis, because the first question you have to ask is, how big is the human system in relation to the ecosystem? If the human system is really small, then we've got a lot of resources waiting to be used, and we've got a lot of space to pump our toxins and our waste and our trash and our urine and our feces and our carbon dioxide and all the rest. It's just part of our system. But what if the human system were to get too big for the ecosystem? What if the goldfish that was really little when you put him in the bowl gets so big now that his waste toxifies the water before the water can clean it up? And his gills suck out all the oxygen too fast for more oxygen to come in. Then, poor little Goldie is floating sideways, and you think, something's wrong. And it so happens, this is the first crisis, that in our lifetime, in area after area after area, we have exceeded the long-term carrying capacity of the planet. Part of it is that our population has grown. But the bigger part of it is that our consumption has grown. And if you want to ask about this later, we can talk about it. But it's important for you to realize we have no idea how well off we are. You live better than the richest king in the world 400 years ago. Like when you took a shower this morning and you were standing there with that warm water sort of hitting you, you might have been sort of semi-comatose, but at that moment you probably felt better than the richest king in the world felt in his entire life. You didn't have worms going through your intestines. You didn't have rotting teeth in your mouth. You didn't have all kinds of scars and broken bones that never healed properly. You didn't have all kinds of untreated diseases. I mean, no king 400 years ago had a hot shower. I mean, we have no idea. We're living unbelievably well off, but we're doing it at the price of a huge amount of consumption. And so the first crisis is the crisis of the planet. It's that our prosperity system is working so well, and it continues to grow, and it's grown beyond the limits, the long-term limits that the environment can sustain. Now, I'm just to tell you the truth, be very honest, I'm a huge supporter of President Obama. I never worked in a political campaign until this one. I was very involved in the political campaign. But, I don't think Obama's, Jesus Christ or anything. And my guess is tonight, if you listen to his speech, he's going to be just like everybody else. He's going to talk about our economic crisis. And I hope this isn't true, but it probably will be true. That he'll say the solution to our current economic crisis is more growth. And do you see the problem? If our problem is that we're growing beyond limits, and then when we start to have problems, you say the solution is we've got to grow more. Can you see where that takes us? Especially if you define growing as using more resources and producing more waste. So this is a really, really serious problem. The human race has never faced it before on a planetary scale. People faced it on an island. People faced it in a valley. People faced it on a particular farm. But now we're facing it planet-wide. And I think that is a very, very serious crisis. Second one's closely related to it because that prosperity system is working so unbelievably well for a minority of the world's population. If you want to think about it this way, it basically works out like this. The top